We keep hearing this big sweeping promise. AI is supposed to give us our time back. It's supposed to finally free us from the daily grind.
Right.
But if you actually observe the reality, it often just ties us tighter to our screens.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, we're largely just staring at different, slightly newer interfaces. We're still the ones pushing all the buttons.
Exactly. So welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're exploring a really fascinating shift. We're looking at a fundamental change in how we actually interact with these tools.
Mm-hmm.
Our source today is an insightful article about Claude Dispatch. It explores how this tool bridges mobile control and desktop automation.
It's a really cool concept.
It is.
Uh,
We're going to unpack why most AI tools fail the real-life test.
yeah.
And we'll also explore this idea of treating your phone as a simple remote control, because it changes almost everything about how you actually work.
It totally flips the script on what we expect from our devices. Like, we spent years trying to cram absolutely everything into our pockets.
We really have. Let's talk about the false promise of mobile AI. The setup process for these complex workflows, it just always takes way too long.
Oh, yeah. Way too long.
And running intricate systems from a tiny phone screen feels incredibly fragile. It's just inherently annoying to manage.
It is deeply frustrating. We expect our phones to do absolutely everything now. We want them to be these mini supercomputers.
Right.
But the mobile environment is just fundamentally constrained by its physical design.
I have to admit something here. I still wrestle with fragile mobile setups that just drain my time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I try to automate a workflow while riding the train, and it always ends up being a complete disaster.
Well, you're definitely not alone in that struggle. Everyone tries to build these towering DIY stacks on their phones. But switching between 5 different apps to copy and paste just completely breaks your focus.
It really does. So Claude Dispatch steps in as a highly practical bridge. It introduces AI agent automation, and that simply means software doing multi-step tasks without your constant input. But the brilliant part is how it changes where the work actually lives.
Exactly. You send the task directly from your phone. You just type a quick command or tap a button. But the actual heavy lifting, that happens entirely on your desktop back at home.
Beat. Why does moving away from the desk suddenly make powerful AI feel so clunky?
Mostly because your phone lacks that proper rich environment. The screen is too small to display multiple apps.
Yeah.
It doesn't have your active workflow states loaded into memory. So the AI loses all that vital surrounding context when you go mobile.
So power means nothing without the right workspace.
Spot on.
Understanding that structural setup leads us directly into real life. It shows us how this actually functions. The absolute magic here is leveraging your existing context.
Yeah, your desktop already holds all your essential heavy files. It has the computing power. It has the stable internet connector.
It also has your active, authenticated browser sessions. Your securely logged in tools are sitting right there. Dispatch doesn't ask the mobile phone to do any of that heavy lifting.
It just acts as a clean, incredibly simple trigger, nothing more.
Let's elevate this a bit. It's essentially a client-server relationship, but it's applied directly to your own personal hardware.
Right.
Think of it like a massive, fully equipped factory. Your desktop is the back-end factory. It has all the complex, heavy machinery humming along.
That's a great way to visualize it. And your phone is just a lightweight user interface. It's like the simple remote control on the factory floor.
You just press a single button.
Yeah.
And the massive machines start turning and processing.
Yeah.
You absolutely don't need to build a new factory in your pocket.
Rebuilding that deep context on a mobile device is completely exhausting. It's the primary reason why most mobile AI apps feel so frustratingly limited.
They force you to start from scratch. You have to log in again. You have to upload the files again. Every single time.
Right. Dispatch completely sidesteps that annoying friction. It just taps into the massive momentum your desktop already has going.
But wait, I have to push back slightly here.
Sure.
If the desktop is the factory doing all the real work, does it have to be awake? Doesn't the computer need to be running constantly for this to actually function?
Yes, the host machine does need to be accessible. It has to be in a state where the agent can interact with the operating system.
Okay.
But leaving a desktop running securely in your home office is much easier than managing fragile scripts on a phone.
That makes sense. It relies on a stable environment.
Yeah.
It solves a massive underlying flaw in how we currently design mobile applications. 2-sec silence. Why is keeping the desktop in the loop better than just building a smarter mobile app?
Because serious, deep work requires complex files and
Yeah.
multiple open windows simultaneously. Those dense puzzle pieces only truly live comfortably on a real, full-sized computer.
Right.
Even the smartest mobile app still fundamentally lacks that spacious environment.
Your desktop already has all your puzzle pieces.
Exactly.
This simplified, separated approach changes how we view our core devices. Most of the current AI agent tools make a really huge, faulty assumption.
Yeah, they really do.
They assume you are physically sitting at a desk all day.
They expect you to actively micromanage every single tab. They basically want you supervising the AI constantly.
You have to watch every generated prompt carefully. You have to correct its mistakes in real time.
Right.
And when you inevitably leave the desk, those delicate DIY mobile stacks just completely fall apart.
They're entirely too fragile for the real world. Like, if you lose cellular connection for 10 seconds, the entire workflow errors out.
Wow.
One tiny API change breaks the whole...
Right, and the whole automated chain just suddenly stops working.
Yes. Dispatch simply changes the fundamental role of the phone. It stops trying to make the phone an execution engine.
It shifts the phone to just starting and monitoring the task. It's a communication device again.
It relieves the mobile processor of the heavy, continuous execution burden.
You really don't need a massive screen for that. You just need a simple, reliable status bar. You just need a notification that the job is done.
Exactly. You check in briefly, you perhaps approve a specific step, then you put the phone away and get back to your actual life.
It deeply respects the physical and practical limits of the mobile device. 2-sec silence. Are we finally admitting that phones are just bad at heavy multitasking?
I think we absolutely have to admit that phones are incredibly brilliant for quickly managing tasks and communicating, but they are genuinely terrible for deep, sustained, complex execution.
Phones are for steering, desktops are the engine.
That's the perfect summary of this new dynamic.
Now, this shift naturally alienates some of the hardcore power users. That brings us to a really interesting split in Anthropic's ecosystem.
Yeah, this is important.
We need to carefully clarify the distinction here.
Right. Anthropic has released two different paths. There's Claude Code, and then there's Claude Dispatch.
Claude Code is strictly for highly technical users. It's for developers who want deep, granular, terminal-level control. They want to build custom systems completely from zero.
They genuinely enjoy tinkering. That's every weird edge case in the command line interface.
It's a builder's tool.
Exactly.
But Claude Dispatch is the highly approachable bridge. It's designed specifically for founders. It's for marketers, managers, and daily operators.
These are people who just want to use their existing messy setup. They don't want to learn Python just to read their emails.
They demand zero technical friction. They don't want to spend weekends building a complex, fragile machine.
They just want the damn machine to do the actual work.
Knowing exactly who it's for helps us visualize its daily use. It's a highly practical tool for everyday professionals.
Yeah.
2-sec silence. Does choosing Dispatch over Code mean you're sacrificing quality for convenience?
Not at all. It's absolutely not a loss of quality. It's just the fundamental difference between building the complex machine yourself versus simply sitting down and using it.
Code is building the engine. Dispatch is driving.
Yeah, and the vast majority of us just want to drive the car.
So let's look at some highly specific, real-world use cases. We're talking about the deeply unglamorous but absolutely vital tasks.
The mundane stuff that slowly drains your energy every single day. The invisible friction of modern knowledge work.
Imagine the feeling of checking hundreds of new inbound leads, reviewing giant, chaotic, deeply messy inboxes.
The worst.
Right. Or pulling specific pricing information from 12 different open browser tabs.
Or trying to organize highly chaotic, scattered notes from a grueling 2-hour strategy meeting.
These supposedly small tasks actually consume so much of your mental bandwidth.
They really do.
You feel like you're working, but you're really just doing digital chores. But now, these chores can be handled efficiently during very short gaps in your day.
Like when you're simply walking down the hall between endless meetings, or when you're just standing around waiting in line at the airport.
Whoa. Imagine triggering heavy desktop lead scraping while waiting for your coffee.
It's pretty wild to think about. Your powerful computer is sitting back at home, working incredibly hard. It's opening tabs and compiling spreadsheets. And you're just sipping an espresso in a cafe.
It essentially reclaims those totally lost 5-minute windows of time.
Yeah.
It transforms them into periods of deep work output.
And you never even have to open a heavy laptop. You don't have to find a table or connect to sketchy public Wi-Fi.
That's the real, tangible magic here. You're present in the physical world, but highly productive in the digital one.
Mm-hmm.
Two-sec silence. Are these really just the boring tasks, or are they the bottleneck to real productivity?
Oh, they are definitely the main bottleneck. When you finally clear out those boring, highly repetitive tasks, you actually unlock the necessary mental space for high-level strategic thinking.
Clearing the small chores unlocks the big ideas.
It always does. You cannot strategize when you're drowning in data entry.
Okay, but I have to ask the obvious question.
Go for it.
If this approach is so incredibly useful, why hasn't everyone been doing this already with other tools? Startups have been promising this for 2 years.
Right.
This brings us to why other mobile AI tools consistently fail. The source article calls it the failure triad.
The failure triad. It consists of 3 massive hurdles: security, cost, and friction. These are the silent killers of enterprise AI adoption.
Let's start deeply with security. Giving random third-party mobile apps
Yeah.
broad system-level access is incredibly risky.
You're essentially handing over the master keys to your entire digital life.
They demand access to your entire browser history. They need to read your local, highly confidential files.
Yep.
They want to see your authenticated cookies.
It's a massive, unacceptable vulnerability for any serious professional. One data breach at that third-party startup, and your entire company's internal data is suddenly exposed on the open internet.
It's terrifying. Then there's the massive issue of unpredictable cost. We have to talk about API usage,
Right.
and that just means paying for every data request the software makes.
Exactly. And this is where the mechanics get really messy. When complex automated workflows fail, they often retry or loop endlessly.
Wow.
And those costs explode incredibly rapidly.
Let's break that down for you. AI agents don't just ask a simple question once. If an agent gets slightly confused on a poorly designed website, it might furiously refresh the page.
It might ping the massive language model 50 times in a single minute just trying to find a hidden submit button.
And if you're paying real money for every single API ping, you just spent $20 while waiting for your coffee.
Yeah.
It's a completely broken economic model for daily tasks.
It adds up so incredibly fast. You end up with a massive bill for a highly mediocre task.
Finally, we arrive at friction. There is just way too much DIY setup involved in current tools. Normal, busy users just throw their hands up and give up entirely.
They really don't have the time to debug a visual coding graph just to sort their morning emails.
Right.
Dispatch elegantly overcomes this triad by leaning heavily on your own securely controlled desktop environment.
It's highly local. It's strictly controlled by your operating system's rules. It makes the entire process significantly safer and far more stable.
You're not sending your highly sensitive data to a random, unproven startup server. It stays on your machine.
Overcoming these 3 massive hurdles is a huge deal. It represents a fundamental, necessary evolution in the consumer AI landscape. Two-sec silence. Is security the hidden reason most enterprise users abandon these flashy agent demos?
Oh, absolutely. The demos always look amazing on Twitter. But one exposed API key or one bad security configuration is just way too risky for any serious business to ever actually tolerate.
Flashy demos mean nothing if the data isn't safe.
Security and reliability always have to come first. Otherwise, it's just a fun toy. Sponsor.
Welcome back to the deep dive. Let's step back and look at the truly big idea here. We need to carefully synthesize this massive macro shift in our basic AI expectations.
We are finally, thankfully, moving past the initial breathless hype phase of artificial intelligence. We're entering the practical era.
The old naive question was always, can this magical agent do absolutely everything for me?
Right. It was a fascinating philosophical question for a while.
Yeah.
But it proved to be mostly useless in actual, messy, daily practice.
Because reality is full of weird edge cases. Now we have a fundamentally new, highly practical standard. The modern question is simply, can this specific agent help me move my actual work forward safely today?
That is a much more mature, realistic way to evaluate any new technology. It grounds the tool in daily utility.
It focuses entirely on reliable, highly incremental progress. It smartly avoids the dangerous trap of massive, unrealistic overpromising.
Yeah, and it relies heavily on your existing proven workflows. It deeply respects your current hard-won habits instead of trying to completely rewrite them.
This profound shift changes how we integrate AI into our lives entirely. It becomes a quiet, highly competent assistant in the background.
Exactly.
It's no longer a loud, demanding disruption, constantly asking for your attention. Two-sec silence. Is this the moment AI stops being an experiment and starts being a normal utility?
I genuinely believe so. Historical technology tools always win when they cleanly fit into how human beings already naturally work. They always fail when they stubbornly force people to completely adapt their deeply ingrained habits.
The best AI doesn't demand you change your habits.
It just quietly makes your current habits significantly faster and much more powerful.
That is a truly profound realization to end our discussion on, but I want to leave you with one final, slightly provocative thought to mull over.
Okay.
If our mobile phones are increasingly just becoming simple remote controls for our primary heavy machines back home, how does that fundamentally change the entire future of remote work?
Oh, that's a massive, endlessly fascinating question. It changes the physical requirements of being a professional.
Will we eventually stop carrying heavy laptops altogether? Just imagine seamlessly traveling the entire world with nothing but a phone in your pocket.
While your powerful desktop sitting quietly at home does absolutely all the heavy computing and data lifting.
It brings us right back to our opening thought today. We desperately wanted AI to finally free us from our glowing screens.
Right.
Maybe it doesn't remove the screen completely from our lives, but maybe, just maybe, it finally lets us choose a much smaller, lighter one.
It finally gives us our true physical mobility back.
Thank you for taking this deep dive with us today. Keep questioning your daily workflows, demand better from your tools, and keep exploring the mechanisms behind the hype. OT Toro Music.